finally changed. It's an X instead of a bird.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? Is it?
Yeah.
Is it that exciting, boys? Like that, we're now excited that a bird's changed to an X. Did you see the guy?
Exciting.
Did you see the guy who's got? Did you see the guy who's got like 6 apps in a folder, and it starts with GAYSE, and then the last one was Twitter. He says, "Please don't change it to an X, because otherwise everybody gets it." Good evening, everybody. Anyway, and welcome to Pre-Season, episode 6 of the Orta Know Better podcast. I'm Luke. I'm joined tonight by the ever so jolly Jay. How are you, mate? All right?
All good, mate. Yeah.
You're looking all right over there today in black.
Yeah, I've made an effort today. Had a shower and everything.
Yeah, I think I prefer you in black.
Cheers, mate.
And then Gilly in what was my favourite home shirt for many, many years up until the release of this one. How are you doing? All right, Gilly?
Yeah, I'm not so bad. Could be worse.
Good. Pleased to hear it. Yeah, plenty of stuff to talk about. Obviously, tonight we've got the pre-season friendly. Well, we say at home, but at York, to Monaco. Loads of other bits and bobs. Once we've run an intro, we will get into a bit of that.
Hi, this is Don Matteo, and you are listening to the Orta Know Better podcast. Let's do this.
You look like fucking Brolin, you're a Leeds hating bastard. Look like some sort of fucking weird floating head. No. You utensil player a bit, innit?
I mean, I feel a bit right, dickhead.
Nothing spectacular, really.
Yeah, so I've just seen it. The Twitter icon has now officially turned to a black X on mine.
Yes.
No more.
Put your pen down, please.
No more bird app. I don't have a pen in my hand today. It'll be. I'm pretty sure that'll be Jay's metal straws that you can hear in the background.
None of that, mate.
Yeah, I mean, whilst nothing's really been going on, there's actually been quite a lot been going on in the world of Leeds United, as we know. Start them first things first with the friendly from the weekend versus Monaco. Obviously came out 2-0 losers in that one. Nice to see the new signing and a few players take to the pitch that potentially we didn't expect to be here during this summer transfer window potentially. How do you think we fared up then, Jay? Did you go to the game?
No, I didn't. I wanted to go, but I never saw tickets go on sale, so I completely missed it. I didn't end up watching all of it, to be honest. I were in the middle of something else. I saw like most of the first half.
Don't be saying that. Have you seen some of the comments we got on this podcast?
Yeah, I know, yeah.
They don't even watch the fucking games.
I normally do. Right. I normally do, to be fair. I just can't remember any of it.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously a lot of positives. I think the biggest positive for me, Gilly, to take out of that. Did you watch it, by the way, before we start?
Yes, yeah. Well, yes. I saw probably about the last 3 quarters of it because I've been at work. So.
Yeah, I think the biggest positive for me is what a bargain we look to have got in Ampadu and how match fit he looked. Putting himself about in that defensive midfield position, he looked really, really competent and looked like. I mean, Monaco are a decent side. They're going to be pushing Champions League places in the French league this year. That
are they in their top flight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they?
Monaco.
They've recently been promoted. They were in their second tier, weren't they? I think you're right, though, in terms of Ampadu. And it wasn't just the way that he was putting himself about either. He was spraying balls. He was playing them over the top and picking people out. I think to touch on what you guys talked about in a previous pod around the fullbacks, I think if we've got both Ampadu and Adams, if we keep Adams, obviously, able to sit in midfield and control elements there, it puts a lot less emphasis on our fullbacks to actually defend, especially as we're going to be in a position where we expect to dominate possession and dominate fitness levels. So I think it's a big deal being able to have that because he would kind of. This sounds bad. I guess he were kind of what we expected Rocker to be in terms of that foil next to Adams. Now, he was signed from a Champions League team and fell short, but he was in a different division. So if he can play that foil to Adams and we can keep hold of Adams, which we might touch upon later in this podcast, I think he'll play really well in there. I do like him in midfield, though. I know that he can play in defence, but I do like him in midfield.
Do you think Verbegoin could end up putting him in defence by default, even though we don't want him there?
Good question.
At this point, who knows?
Yeah, I think.
Who knows anything with Leeds?
I think we have to be prepared to. I mean, we'll come on to the potential incomings and outgoings in a short while, but I think we have to prepare with another centre back in there. We can't expect Ampadu to be playing there and then relying on Adams if he stays. Plus, you know, we're quite light in terms of senior players in the central midfield. You know, we haven't got. We've let that fat shite go back to America. We let Forshaw's just gone. And yeah, we are really light in that position. But just to go back to what you said, Gilly, I think if we line up this season with those two as our starting central defensive midfielders, we've got the best midfield in the world in terms of those two midfielders. Not the world, sorry, in the league. Fucking hell. Getting carried away, yeah.
A little bit carried away.
You're getting into Bielsa's Forshaw territory there. Could play in any team in the world.
Yeah, it's yeah, I mean, for me, it was a good watch. It was good to see the players, and as I said before, I'm pretty sure Monaco are going to be pushing Champions League places this year. Gilly, you did make me swallow my shit a second ago, but I've just double checked. Yeah, they are League One. I haven't.
Yeah, they finished 6th last year.
Right.
I think they've invested quite heavily as well. They've got some exciting players. I think number 44, I don't remember his name. I don't really care, but he looked really established. He looked like he knew what he was doing and put us under some constant pressure. But yeah, I think it was a good run out for him. It was just what they needed, probably what we needed to actually understand and identify that Meslier is not the best keeper in the world, and we do need players in, which we'll come on to in a short while as well. But yeah, there wasn't a lot of negatives, I don't feel. When you consider the level of opposition we were up against, I didn't feel it didn't feel like they were all over us for the majority of the game or anything like that. We had a couple of chances as well. I don't know what your two thoughts are. I mean, how would you see that run out? Forgetting the scoreline, would you be happy with losing it 2-0? Do you think we got enough out of that?
I don't think it's a terrible result against a team in the top flight of their country and in Europe, you know. It's not.
It is a farmers' league, man.
It is, but when you look at what we were like last season, we couldn't beat anyone, Gilly. We'd have got beat by bloody League One opposition if we'd come up against an after.
Yeah, League One.
You're very funny, you look.
I think in terms of pre-season, I think what Farkle have been saying to him is it's about fitness. And, the amount of changes, and I know it was on both sides, but the amount of changes that were made in the game, it were always going to be a bit scrappy towards the end anyway. I think one of the things that we're looking for is running at 100% to the end of the game, which is absolutely not what we got used to under some more recent coaching regimes. So
we bought a midfielder that couldn't play past 65 minutes.
And then another one that couldn't play past 65-5. It is about fitness at this point, and I know that's a bit of a cliche, but that's all it is. Playing against the scum, even in pre-season, always has a bit of an edge. I didn't like that, especially when you look at the lineup and you think, did we really give them enough of a game to say that they were putting kids out? And I don't think we did, but in this one, what would have been a bad outcome? You get tonked, yeah, it looks bad, but we didn't, and we were well in the game, and it were only when we made changes that we kind of looked a bit ropey. So for me, it's kind of a non-event, is the scoreline.
And you've got to remember how poor we were in comparison, how poor we were under Bielsa in pre-season friendlies. I mean, we were pretty bad. We were pretty bad.
That's true.
Didn't we
so
get
if we
beat
hit
by
the ground like we did against
Chesterfield or
Stoke,
something? Didn't we get beat by somebody?
That Wayne
really
Cooper
shit?
got identified, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that. But I don't think Bielsa was here then, was he?
That was
Obviously
before
not.
Bielsa, but yeah,
it was.
in pre-season we've had some bad ones.
Yeah, exactly, and it is just the result. Actually, great. It's great to win them. It's great for the fans who've travelled up to York to watch it. But ultimately, it's about getting minutes in legs and understanding what holes are still in our preferred starting 11, I suppose. Anybody else impress you, Jay, from what you did see?
Oh God, I think Archie Gray did all right.
Yeah,
he's definitely someone I'm looking forward to seeing more of this season. I just don't want it to become a Nonto situation almost, where everyone's like going crazy for him to play and relying on him and stuff at a young age. He's not going to be at that point for a while yet, and it's not like playing for some crappy backwater club when you play for Leeds. There's a lot of expectation at Leeds, and if the crowd starts clinging to you as the shining light, then you've got massive shoes to fill. And I don't think we need to do that to him yet. I'm just hoping we get to see him sparingly and use him as and when needed.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Do you think he's got a bit more leeway because of his heritage?
I think he probably got an easier route to where he is initially because of that. But once you get there, I'm sure the club initially signed him because he's a Grey.
I don't know
as much as anything
that.
else, because he'll have been really young. He'll have been really young.
Absolutely do not. Not only do I not think that, but I also think that it doesn't matter what we say or do now in terms of reflection of trying to not put pressure on him or whatever. There's always going to be that pressure on it for a Grey.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Always. It's not going to get.
But what I was going to say is, it's a different matter getting your foot in the door to staying there, and he's obviously worked his balls off once he's got in and shown what he can do, and he's one of the most gifted young kids we've had in absolute years. Maybe since the last time we were a Premier League team.
Yeah,
we still should be doing half of that Villa side for assault.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, we absolutely should. Absolutely. Especially McGinn. He did it again the other day, didn't he? Newcastle.
Did, yeah.
And they played, or somebody else, I can't remember. I think it was Newcastle they played, didn't they, in that stupid cup we were meant to be in. But we were replaced by Fulham.
I'd love to see McGinn try that on a prime Vinnie Jones or David Batty.
It wouldn't happen, would it? It wouldn't happen.
He wouldn't dare.
But just to go back to the point you made on Archie Gray, the question I suppose I asked is, I meant from the fans, does he get a bit of additional, unconscious bias leeway? Because look, we all want to see him succeed. We all know his history. We all know who he's related to. If he makes a mistake, does he get as hard a time as, say, if Junior Firpo makes a mistake? Probably not, I think.
Probably not. There will be sort of goodwill and sentiment towards him by default to a degree. But once you're in that team, if you're not performing, it'll soon turn.
Completely.
You've got to do it on the pitch, otherwise, that backing will go.
There's no doubt that he's a talented young man, and I expect him to go all the way, certainly with us, and be playing in our first team relatively regularly. But have you heard about his younger brother?
I have actually, yeah. Apparently he's even better.
Yeah. Apparently
Liam B's just in comments.
Who just said that, sorry? There we go. Liam
B.
B. Sorry, yeah. Eddie says his brother could be even better. Yeah. I forget who told me. Somebody I was talking to about the youth. It might have been Jer actually on Joe's a few weeks ago.
Oh, podcast friends.
Podcast lag. So yeah, he no Dodd Podger tonight again. But yeah, no, it's a nice position to be in. That actually we've got these players with age on their side and potential, and these ceilings that can be reached that are ultimately unlimited at this stage, and we won't actually know as to who will get where until they're probably in their late teens, early 20s, as to whether they'll be as special as we expect them to be. Gilly, anyone from memory who stood out for you from that game?
You've already pointed him out. I think Ampadu was the standout for me. I think that unfortunately, when it comes to the goal, I know that you and I don't necessarily see eye to eye in terms of who was at fault. I thought it was more the defence than the goalkeeper, but the positioning could have been a bit better. Cresswell stood out.
I completely agree with that, by the way.
Cresswell stood out a little bit for not dealing with the ball into the box. So in terms of a bit of a negative slant, other than that, again, another negative was Ruta not behaving in the way that you want somebody that was given that opportunity to play in that position to play. Dan James, to be fair to him, put across 2 particularly good balls across the box, and somebody that was playing as a 9 ought to be getting on the end of the crosses that you were putting in, low and hard across, flashing across the front of the 6-yard box. And Ruta stood for a cutback on the edge of the box, and you're thinking, you're being asked to play as a 9, mate. You need to be in there. And it's not that instinct that's there to be in the right position. So more negatives than positives. But having said that, I thought overall it wasn't that bad.
No, I agree. And I'll tell you who impressed me. I was watching it relatively sporadically as well. I was at a barbecue and I was absolutely hanging from Friday night, and so I had to sort of just like.
You do surprise me.
Yeah, I do. I did have to sort of keep. I went to see the Red Hot Chili Peppers, by the way, Friday night. Absolutely fantastic. And I know we don't see eye to eye on this, Gilly, and you hate them. They were fucking amazing, honestly. Saturday it was. Saturday it was, I was a little bit spaced out still, and very, very little sleep and whatever else. But Pascal Struijk stood out for me, and it comes a bit of a shock. You probably, I mean, we all expected his Leeds career was dead, and he's been relatively poor, I think. And I'm just thinking, with a little bit more, and I don't want to make too many comparisons between Farke and Bielsa. They're 2 completely different managers, but we've already seen the training videos. They're looking leaner as a squad. Yeah, they're looking fitter than they ever were last season already at this stage. He's only been there 2 or 3 weeks, This fitness guy that's come in, and I forget the guy's name, he's brought in with him. He's meant to be a bit of a drill sergeant, and they are looking a lot fitter, and that will do Pascal the world of good, because he did look unfit, he did look leggy, he did look laboured in games. He's 22, 23 years old, and he's already played 3 seasons in the Premier League and won the championship. You know what I mean? He's got a lot of experience. I think he could be quite an important player for us this season if we keep hold of him.
I think we will.
Faith in him at all at the moment.
I don't see him going anywhere. I think if you look at his potential, he's not realised what we all hoped he was going to be by any stretch. And I think if you sold him now, you can get anything like what you might get for him after another season or 2. And he's got plenty of longevity in the game, unless the worst happens for him. But he's got enough longevity in the game to be able to show that early promise under an actual coach. So we did see a lot in him. If you think Halme was ahead of him in the pecking order, and then he was given one chance and he never let go of it. He did all right at left back. He was poor when he went back into the middle after being at left back, and he struggled since. But that was under a coaching regime that wasn't actually coaching the players, and we didn't want the ball, which was constantly putting us under pressure. I think it's really unfair, and it's not wrong, but maybe unfair given the context. To say that we don't trust him and he's been really poor. It is true, but still slightly unfair, I think, because of the context around the coaching and the approach and the setup of the side.
We saw how good he was under a good coach, albeit he still had a mistake in him, but he played everywhere. He played everywhere under Marcelo. He played centre-back, left-back, defensive midfielder. I think he played a fair few games out as well.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So it shows. I mean, you've only got to look at how he rated Leif Davis and what he's gone on to do at Ipswich. Got their player of the season last year. Bielsa clearly has an eye for talent, naturally. And I think, as I say, I go back to my original point. I think he might have a very important season for us this year. Could play a big part.
Had a quick look at the coaching staff. So Eddie Reimer's the assistant coach, but I think it's Chris Domagala that you were talking about was the one that cracks the whip. He's the fitness coach.
Magala, that doesn't ring a bell.
Domagala.
Oh, it might do. I don't know. I can't remember. I did research it when Farke first came over, and because I know Jay spoke to the Canaries guys, the Canary Pod Canary, or whatever
Canary Cast.
That's it.
Yeah.
About him in a bit more detail. So I do know who you're on about, but I just couldn't remember his name.
Look at me drinking Carlin in a skirt.
Ooh, is that in a thing? Is that in a slim glass?
No, it's in a can.
The can.
Very nice. Very nice. Are you drinking out of a can or out of a glass?
Can.
Oh, okay.
He's in full
anyway.
full football mode now. He's ready.
Yeah, start throwing him at them.
No.
He's in the wedge for the first game, isn't he? He's in the wedge.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, all in all, not a bad run out. Just to summarise, then that Monaco game, not a bad run out. We got to see a few good things, few bad things, and plenty to look forward to. I mean, it's good. That's going to take me on to the next point, though. With regard to ins and outs, I think is probably the next conversation we can have, because obviously we've been linked today quite heavily with Bournemouth signing the lad from, was it Milan, on loan with a view to permanent. That seemed to free the way up for Darlow to be joining us. What do we make of that? Are we excited? I mean, is it better? It's obviously, is it a case of better than what we've got, or is it a good, astute signing? What do you think about it, Gilly?
I think if you look at the makeup of the squad and you look at where there is still some money to be made from sales, I think that probably Meslier is one of the ones that I would be looking at, which is an absolute about turn from the start of last season, and probably runs counter to what I've just said about Strike about being unfair. But it almost feels like now would be a good move for both parties when it comes to Meslier, that he would get a fresh start and that we would be able to bring in somebody that's a bit more solid. I think if we're going to be dominating play to the extent that we expect to in that division, I think there's going to be less emphasis on the keeper playing with the ball at his feet. He's not Bielsa, so but we'll have a lot of the ball. So it's more emphasis on being the shot stopper when they do get through than being involved in that build-up play that we came to expect under Bielsa. So getting somebody solid that can command the box, that can come for crosses, and that can do well with set pieces, which has been a bit of a downfall for Meslier in the past. He was a great shot stopper under Bielsa. If you look at the number of shots that he was facing, he was doing really well until last season. I feel like that could be a good move for both parties, especially if there's a decent fee attached to it.
So, whilst I agree with that, I almost think that we'd be letting him go below his potential value if we let him go now.
Oh no, I absolutely agree.
Could ever have had. He got dropped from the team for a goalkeeper who's aging and whatever.
Hasn't
else,
he gone to the Qatari second division as well now?
Yeah. It just shows what sort of ambition these people have when they're giving it big licks on fucking social media, saying get behind the boys and all this, and he fucks off for loads of money in the Qatari second division. Yeah, all right, mate. I think it's fair to say then it's an immediate upgrade on what we've got with Darlow. Should it go through? It's an immediate upgrade. But back to Meslier, I think I'd be tempted, and I know this sounds fucking stupid with the amount of loanees we've got sent out. We've sent out, but send him out for half a season or even a season on loan to somewhere on the continent who hasn't got a first team goalkeeper that would like him.
Send him to France. It's not going to harm his international options any. That feels like if you're going to send him on loan, send him to France, put him in the mind of the international setup. He'll probably go for that. That feels like it would make sense, and you would be doing some of that we had about Llorente, that was preserving the value of the player.
Yeah. Probably use that excuse with Koch as well, even though he goes for nothing at the end of the year. But
that is the value of the player.
What I want to know, Luke, do you think?
What do you want to know, Jay? Yes, I am 5'10".
Just. Do you think that Darlow at his best is better than Meslier at his best?
I don't think.
Depends what you're asking for.
I don't think Mellier's reached his peak, and I don't think goalkeepers don't tend to do that till at the earliest mid-20s.
No, I mean like at his best that we've seen him.
I think it does depend what you're asking for. I think if you're asking for somebody to be a bit of a leader, which we've seen Meslier isn't really, to command his box, which we've not seen much from him, and to do well with crosses and free kicks, which are going to be how people focus their attacks against us this season.
Absolutely.
I would probably say that Darlow's the stronger. If you're talking about ball at their feet, and if you're talking about just pure shot stopping, you might go Meslier. If they're both on their best day. Not Meslier last season, but are both on the best day.
It's an upgrade. I think on form currently it probably is. But I think my concern is, like, say Darlow's levels here, Meslier, when he's good, is here, but currently he's here. Do we just want this little jump, or would we rather?
I suppose look at it this.
Get back there.
Look at it this way, then. Meslier needs his confidence back. Even if we keep hold of him and he's demoted to second goalkeeper, he has then got someone to push toward, a level to achieve.
Yeah.
I suppose the way to look at it then is Darlow an upgrade on Robles? Which the simple answer is probably yes.
Yeah, probably.
You know,
well, Robles was an upgrade on Meslier at the end of the season, so that shows you how far he's fallen. So I think on that, my perception of what we think the season to come is going to be is I think Darlow fits our requirements right now a bit better. Yeah. I do agree, Luke, sending him out on loan might be the right option. But yes, all right, Meslier being in a position where he's pushing himself and is training better because there's somebody in front of him that he wants to get back in front of. But you also take him away from first-team football by doing that. Mm-hmm. And that's a tough thing. It's not like a winger or a striker or whatever that you can just introduce for the last 10 minutes. It don't work like that for keepers. No. So he would be waiting on massive upheaval at the back where Darlow's caused all sorts of untold misery to the extent of Kiko, or he'd be waiting for him to get injured. And if you've done all season.
Yeah, I get it, and but I think there's a lot to be said in what in your example there with regard to Darlow and the way teams are going to attack us. They're gonna sit back. Probably 90% of them, 80% of them are going to sit back and going to expect a fluke, a free kick, a corner, and I think for that task in hand, Darlow, even at Meslier's peak, when we've seen him good, he still flaps at corners and free kicks, and that isn't his game. That isn't what he's good at. Yeah. Darlow's far more commanding, and he'll bring the wealth of experience. You know, he's been promoted out the Championship before. So yeah, look, I think it is an initial upgrade. I think it's quite a good signing. I think for £5-6 million, whatever he's touted about.
We haven't actually signed him yet, though, have we?
No, we haven't. Not yet. No,
all right, I've not missed anything. Right, yeah. It looks like it's on. I'd seen YEP had been retweeting and saying it's a goal.
Fabrizio's even said it's pretty much going as well. So, it looks to me as if it's probably going to happen early this week. That was the release earlier on, if you remember, was that there will be a goalkeeper in the next few days. I think it was said on Sunday after the match. So
that's what they said, yeah.
So, yeah, a couple of other things then, a couple of other ins and outs that I just wanted to talk about, potentials. A lot of noise about Piroe and his fee now, or the asking fee being reduced to 15 million from 20 million. Mm. Do we sign him and just take the hit on 15 million for somebody with a year left, or do we dick about, wait about and see if they drop it again or see who else comes in for him? Where do you stand on that, Jay?
If we're not all over that at that price, then we're fucking bonkers. It's a small price to pay for a proven goal scorer
at this level.
What else are you going to get exactly? Like you're either taking a gamble on somebody more expensive that's failed in the Premier League, or you're buying from the league below, hoping that they can step it up. I don't see a downside to it at all. If you're serious about promotion, these are sort of players you've got to be signing, aren't they? Surely.
I think so. I can't see a better alternative at this level for us that would actually consider coming to play for us. So yeah, I mean, I think I'd be tempted. I mean, I know I'm not a financial advisor for Leeds United or even got anything to do with football finances, but I think if I was cheeky, I'd probably put in a bid of maybe 10 or 12 million with 3 million if we get promoted, or 3 million if he scores 20 goals, or something along them lines. It was a bit of a Brucey bonus, and let's see how their confidence sits with their striker at Swansea. So, Gilly, what are your thoughts on Piroe?
I think is one of them where a player's worth what somebody's willing to pay. And actually, to a certain extent, and I have changed on this, to a certain extent, I don't really give a shit about the fee. I just give a shit about landing the player. So it's not my money.
Yeah.
I've become a lot more zen about this stuff. It used to really bug me. It used to really bug me that other sides would do much better than us in terms of the deals. They still are. But to be honest, I'm a lot less asked about it than I was. Just go get him. I don't really care.
Yeah, no, I'm the same. Look, it's not our money, is it? At the end of the day, they're not gonna do a Risdale. Did we spend more than we should have done?
Exactly. They are there.
Probably.
Let's make no bones about it. They are there to make money off us.
Yeah,
but they can only do that through success. So
yeah, absolutely. And the conversation I had, I think it was with Jay actually the other day. It was I don't know, it was I think it was anyway. It was around understanding that actually. I put my pen down because I'm clicking.
Well done.
It was around. Let me just look. There you go. It was around. Actually, the 49ers were due to buy us for £400 million or $500 million, whatever it was. They've only spent 170, whatever it is, I think. So there is clearly a difference there in the amount of money. Now a Premier League club, if that is worth 400 million to them,
yeah,
then the Championship club is 170. I think it was. Is that right? Sound right? I think.
I think it was because they'd already made certain investments. It wasn't that much as a transaction fee, but they'd already invested in. So totting all up, I think it was about that.
Yeah. But you got to remember that some investors pulled out when we got relegated. So the pool of money that was going to buy us for 400 million, it's a different pool now and might be worth.
Well, we don't know that because
we don't know, but
I
do know
don't
some
think
people pulled out.
We do, but there's also people involved now that were never mentioned before, so we don't know exactly what happened.
We'll never know. That's all hearsay, and you potentially clutching at straws, and it's a bit of a dark avenue to go down when you start guessing and things like that.
Yeah, of course.
But the truth in the matter is there's at least a 130 million deficit in price paid for Leeds United to Adria Radrizzani for controlling stake. Now, I'm not suggesting in any way that they go out and spend 130 million and hope for promotion. Not in any way.
Well, hang on, I'm trying to work out your maths there. Wanted 400 million.
Yeah.
And 170 million.
Yeah.
It's a 230 difference.
It's a 230 difference.
Sorry, I've had a beer. I was just making sure. But you've got to remember. You've got to remember that the asset at this point in time, and I know they'd be leveraging based on future earnings and revenues. The asset itself is not worth what it was, which is why it was only 170 instead of the rumoured 400. So they would be gambling that. And you mentioned Ridsdale previously. They have got to ensure that they're not going overboard. There are some FFP things. I don't know what the current position is on that, and we'll know a lot more about the position that we find ourselves in once the next set of books comes out. And it won't reflect this season, but it'll show us exactly what we were like in the last season of the Premier League. But I think going out and spending £15 million on somebody that's 1 in 2 goals at this level.
He's got 41 in 2 seasons and 6 assists or something.
I just don't see why you won't be
fairly safe bet. Yeah, it's a fairly safe bet.
Why would you piss about?
And I'm just trying to think, how long ago did we sign Bamford? 7 years ago now?
And he cost us 10
something like that.
Feels like a lifetime.
No, I thought it was about 7 to 7.5 that he cost. But even if it was that and not 10, then you're only doubling the fee. And what's happened to football and football finances, and to us specifically during that time period as well? We've got the parachute payments, we've got money left over from the Premier League earnings. We are in a position of strength, or we should be in a position of extreme strength compared to much of this league.
We should, yeah.
So somebody else getting in front of us is a different matter. But if he sat there going, somebody come and sign me, and we're not going and doing it and getting that done, that makes no sense to me. And his scoring record is better than Bamford's before we signed him. Let's not forget that either. So
I've got a bit of a theory on this with the 49ers Enterprises. Now they're the 11th, I think, richest sports owning entity in the world. Sports club owning entity.
Is that the York family or is that?
No, that's the Enterprises. That's the Enterprises arm. From I'm led to believe, somebody might correct me if I'm wrong, but I've got a theory here. Now, I think they've been financially astute with what they're doing, and I'll tell you why. I think they want to sell or get rid of some players to make it look like we've got to have some income to have any expenditure, or that's the way the club's being run or whatever.
So they can appear to be. So they can be a bit stronger and a bit tighter on the negotiations.
And if the precedent for those type of signings is Ampadu, somebody of that quality who's got 44 international caps at the age of 22 that we get for £7 million, I'm all for it. You know, even if it means waiting a little bit and a little bit more radio silence and whatever else, I'm all for it. And look, it's going to frustrate the fuck out of a lot of fans. It is, because we're so used to having leaks from the club and loose lips and stories and everything that the expectation is that you should be able to go down your chippy and find out who we're signing in a few weeks. Do you know what I mean?
Under Bielsa, we knew what side we were playing, literally what team we were playing a week before we played them.
Absolutely, yeah. Barring any injuries, we knew we wanted Dan James 6 months before we put a bid in for him because he did that fucking PowerPoint presentation. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, he was in a folder on his wallpaper on his desktop, wasn't he?
So yeah, I mean, I'm all for it, and I'm certainly not one of these who's panicking or worried or in any way, you know, naive or I don't know. How does the radio silence make you feel? Is it welcomed, or would you prefer to start hearing realistic things from the club?
I want to hear stuff. I want to hear stuff myself, just because. Keeps you sort of excited and looking.
Puts us out of a job if we don't, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, pretty much. The worry with like a player like Piroe, like you're saying, oh, I'm okay with waiting if it gets us people like Ampadu and the good deals and all that. That's all well and good, but some players you cannot sleep on because somebody else will take them. It's like number of times I've seen stuff I want on eBay and it's a good price with a buy it now, and I think that's a decent price. But it says, best offer. So I end up putting an offer in anyway, then someone else fucking buys it at full price. And I'm gutted then that I didn't, because it were a good price anyway. Is
that how you buy your trainers?
Pretty much, mate, yeah. Get them for a few quid a piece.
One of those! Just to go back on that point, did you say you're okay waiting, Luke, or are you just okay not knowing until the deal's done?
No, okay, no, I'm okay not knowing until the 11th hour, then they release it. I'm more than happy with that, as long as things are happening and things are moving and bricks are being built. You know, I'm more than happy to wait. I'd rather not know. It's almost a bit like Christmas when you don't know what you're getting. Do you know what I mean? And nobody knew really anything about us going for Ampadu until a day or two before. Whereas
the day before, I think it was, yeah.
Whereas previously, other than the Raf signing, which was a little bit like that, we'd known who we were after, who we'd been scouting, who was potentially coming in, the fees they were coming in for. We'd known that weeks before, a lot of the time. And it's often driven the prices up. And we look at the signings we've made recently through Orta. You know, we paid 18 million for Laurenti and 16 million for Koch, I think it was, and 33 for Rutter or whatever it is. And I mean, the list goes on.
24 for Aronson.
Yeah, the list goes
Let's
on.
Not even get on to August then.
But I mean, you are right. But let's not give too much credit to the RAF one, because they'd written off getting him, hadn't they? It was only when Ren came out and said, actually, we are willing to sell. Yeah. That's why it happened so late in the window. And so let's not give too much credit to our namesake on that one.
Yes, Chris.
But no, I do agree with that. I think, actually, if you consider it as well, what we do know at this point in time is anybody saying we're in for a player, or anybody saying we've signed a player and it's done deal and it'll be finished next week, you know, the Dean Cors of this world. What we do know is that it's all bullshit, because nobody knows what's happening. God. So,
honestly,
especially with the kids being off school.
How many times could a person say stuff that's wrong and doesn't happen, and then just carry on and be like, something changed at last minute?
Yeah, I never said that.
Fucking hell, man. Just not say, oh.
I said the deal was agreed, not that it was done, and then it was unagreed, so I can't change that.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, man. It's
welcome-
clear that whoever was at the club that was feeding transfer stories out is someone that's not there anymore.
Yeah. Oh,
That
not
could have been
Somebody
necessarily.
that's had the
Or-
reins.
Yeah.
Somebody that's been reined in, maybe. Yeah, look at the difference. Wilson. Look at Wilson 3 seasons ago compared to Wilson last season, and it was clear that somebody's put some chains on him because he were bantering and they were giving shit to other clubs, and then all of a sudden it's almost radio silence and really
It's
just
a shadow of his former self.
Yeah. Well,
since we saw them fish and chips, we've seen nothing else.
Hopefully, somebody will take the shackles off him now, and we'll start seeing some of that proper Wilson come back.
Well, he did post something decent the other day, didn't he?
Good evening to Leeds House, the Leeds United Pub Talk podcast in the house. How are you doing? Thank you for the lovely comment. Right then.
Mary?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to sing, but I didn't get the words
Flashback.
right. I can only sing it when I'm pissed.
We have started a fair few comments for you, Luke, if you want to.
Yeah, well, don't you worry about me. I'm still just
we.
one more comment.
I've done none of that, so if the shit, it's not down to me.
The
Of
last-
course, there won't be shit because the people
the last-
involved in our comments are all brilliant.
Exactly, Gilly. Well saved.
The last point of this segment or section, I suppose, is Max Wober and how disappointed are you in Max?
I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed.
Look, I go on, Gilly.
But I think you can probably put it in best light that other than one other international captain, we were pretty much unanimous that he would be one of our clear picks for captain this coming season. That's the feeling and the thought that we had around him, and I've got to be honest, he was one of the ones I was reasonably confident on keeping, especially given the time scale since he joined the club. So yeah, I think always, because I was confident that we were going to be able to keep him, it's even more disappointing that we're in a position where it appears that we're not going to.
Yeah, it didn't feel like there was any danger of losing him. He came out, didn't he, and said, "Oh, I want to help get back."
He said he wanted to stay.
Yeah.
He said he was going to stay.
Why come out and say shit like that? It's like somebody who's like with a bird who he's not really into, but she's just there. Oh, I'll never leave you. I love you. And then someone better comes along that he didn't think he was going to get, and he's off.
Hey,
that's
not
Max
just
Berber.
men who do that, Jay. Stop being so bloody sexist.
That is Max Berber and what he's done to us for me.
Do you know what? I'm torn. He's joined. He's only been with us.
We're on Natalie and Brulia now.
Get it all on this podcast, Gilly. Jesus.
I don't think he owes us anything. If I'm honest with you, Wober. But he shouldn't have come out and given the comments that he gave. I think he had every intention of staying, and his agent's done a bit of fishing. They've mentioned Mönchengladbach, and he's at Ed's turn. Top league of Germany or the Championship. It's a very easy decision. If he's going to be on more money, for him to make, he has no commitment to this club whatsoever, which sounds horrible and it sounds negative, but it's reality.
I get you, Luke. I get you. He doesn't have that connection we have. It doesn't mean anything to him beyond.
No, exactly.
He might enjoy it a bit playing for us. But...
Even the most local, committed Leeds fans leave Leeds United.
Yeah.
After however many years, and we accept it. Leeds fans. I would say Calvin Phillips was a Leeds fan. Alan Smith was a Leeds fan.
The players that are fans. I'm going to say I'm not going to stop being a fan.
No.
I get what you mean. Yeah.
But yeah, it's him stood in front of the side before self badge, and then to see, I'm disappointed to lose him because I felt he could have played a massive part for us this season. And we spoke about it earlier on about the potential for him leaving and replacement. So I think we absolutely have to replace him. If he goes, we need another centre back.
I mean, you can't sort of forget people were talking about either Wöber or Adams as captain.
Yeah,
you can't have somebody who.
You definitely can't forget that since I said it 2 minutes ago.
Well, I can.
We talked about it last week and the week before.
But the point is, you can't have somebody that people are clamouring for to be captain leave and not replace that person. It's got to be somebody of good stature in the game.
I think
fucking putting a body in there.
If Nat Phillips comes in, we forget who Max Wober was.
Possibly, but it would have been nice to have had Nat Phillips and Max Wober.
That'd be the dream.
That'd have been a hell of a centre-back pairing.
And the other side to it is, if we don't, Ampadu ends up in defence, and then we've got a gaping hole in midfield again.
Yeah.
And you called out Struijk having a decent game, but whatever you think of them, we've lost 2 centre-backs that haven't been replaced, and then to lose a third one, all right, Cresswell coming back, but it's not enough. We already had a paper-thin squad, and now right now that paper-thin squad is about 6 players lighter than it was.
Yeah,
no, that's fair enough.
Cooper turning 32 this year.
Irrelevant to me, and the reason for that is also the reason why I agreed with what you guys were saying on the podcast I wasn't on, is his injury, his availability through injury is so patchy at the moment. Can't be relied upon to be available for every game by any stretch. There's more games this season than there were last season. All right, it's a different level, but there's more games this season. And I don't think you can have that player as your captain. And if you're having somebody, it might be club captain, but not first team captain or whatever. I'm not sure how they'll manage that. But you can't give somebody the armband who's going to play 15, 20 games in a season because he's not going to be available. So you're losing then your first team captain from last season and the best centre back, at least, that would have replaced him as captain.
Yeah.
And Adams isn't available until what? Mid-September at the earliest?
And we don't even know how he's going to be after that.
You have to go out and you have
very good. I'll tell you, it'll be very good.
I hope so.
Very good.
But you never know after those kinds of injuries, do you? There's always a chance they're not the same player.
No,
there is.
You're right.
But so you have to go out and you have to sign somebody that's going to slot straight in with capability and with leadership, and that you need both qualities to come in.
Exactly.
Yeah. Just on players ins and outs, etc., etc. There's been a little bit of a rumor come out this week from our friend Jay at Leeds The View. I don't know if everybody's seen this. Gilly, can you just flash that image up for us?
Just hang on. There we go.
Jay, can you get us a poll up for this? Actually,
yeah, I can do.
Just like it or lump it or something. I'll do. What are our thoughts on this then? So I'll give you my thoughts to start with. I absolutely love it. I think it's different. I think it's, leaning towards. I like the peacock. I like the design. I like the colours. I just generally like it. It's very different. It's not another kit that any other club will ever have or have ever had, and it's individual. So yeah, in a nutshell, I absolutely will be getting it.
Oh, I'm good.
Gilly, let's hear your thoughts on this shirt. Then, shall we take the picture down?
I think it's ugly as shit.
No, I said the shirt, not Jay.
No, I think that if you've got an away shirt that we can really identify with, it's plain blue, it's plain yellow, it's like the Strongbow kits. If you've got that and then you have that peacock shirt as your third shirt, I'm all over it. That's fine. But if you've got the peacock shirt as your away kit and then that fucking awful whatever rhubarb and custard bullshit
fruit
that
salad bastard.
Yeah. It feels very much like Rads might have well been involved in that home shirt because the away shirts are that bad that he might just have got lucky on the home shirt.
Third Fish said it looks like his nan's curtains. I'm not sure where your nan works.
One thing I will say, and I don't know if we'd be able to see it if we turn around because you've got quite a high back chair, but the peacock badge on the back of that shirt you've got on, and the peacocks in the actual shirt itself across the background, and the away shirt very much makes me feel like we're going to have a peacock badge in the future.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
and we've got a stylized version of the peacock badge there already, so they might just be warming us up to that.
Yeah, possibly. I mean,
49ers will rebrand us Leeds Peacocks. Like that.
The Leeds United 49 Peacocks.
Vincent Tan that wanted to change Cardiff to Cardiff Dragons or something.
He changed the colour of their kit.
He did. He turned it red from blue.
From blue.
Yeah.
Imagine
for
that
a season.
happening,
I think they only lasted a season. Anyway, that's enough on the show. We'll see how the poll goes and see what people are really thinking about it towards the end. Did you manage to get that poll up? Yeah, Jay?
I did, yeah.
Thank you.
So you have to go to Twitter to see that, do you? Because there'll be some that are watching us
on YouTube.
On YouTube, sorry, because there'll be some that are watching us on Twitter. So
it's on YouTube.
So if you want
to get involved, jump on YouTube.
Or X.com or whatever it's called now.
Yeah. Just on shirts and things, then today we've had the media day. A couple of things to take out of that. Both Nonto and Adams took part in the media day, looking very, very happy. And I think we've got a couple of pictures here to show, have we, Gilly? Of them both in the shirt. There we go. Look, there
we go.
Even Jackie's there. Look,
Junior Furpo, loving it. Look,
Junior. So these are the four. These are probably the four. Is there not one of Willie?
Willie was there. I just took you out of the video while we were coming online. So
no, that's fine. That's fine.
Willie definitely was there.
Those four inclusive. So 5 of Willie inclusive. They're 5 of the names that I expected might not be here. Now, is this a hint? Do we think that actually, if we don't get a write offer for you, you're staying, and that's why you're going to be part of the media day? You know, we're not going to waste any time. If we don't get an offer in, that that either meets your release fee or an offer that we feel is of sensible value to us as a club, then you'll be playing for Leeds United next season in the Championship. Is that that's the message I took from it? I might be reading too deep into it. What do you think?
I would say that it suggests we're not actively trying to sell them. We might not have said to them, you can't leave, but it doesn't look like the club's trying to push them out. Not if they're having them at media days and stuff.
Now, that's the first time we've seen Jack, although he has been injured. I think that's the first time we've seen him in any media videos.
Looks happy enough.
Apparently he's coming back from an operation. That's all.
Yeah, he had a minor operation.
Yeah, apparently,
yeah. Which had passed me by. I'd missed that completely until a week or so ago, and he'd been conspicuous by his absence for a while, hadn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, even the peacocks even the trainers have the peacocks written.
Yeah, I've got some.
So have I.
We'll all be there. First game of the season, all wearing the same trainers, except Ty, who's got shit tasting trainers.
Oh, he's got awful shoes trainers, even worse than Jay's almost.
We'll be there with his Crocs. Will Smart. He'll have a blue Croc on his left foot and a yellow Croc on his right foot.
So I mean. It's probably very loose, the ties that we've got to that media day. They probably have to do it as part of the contract, and if they stay, then they'll use the media. If they don't stay, they probably won't use the media. They're probably using it for. They probably use these. They use the animations for Sky Sports and everything else, don't they? So they've probably got to do it. In fact, but it's nice to cling on to a little bit of hope. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I did miss Cine, who was given an actual tweet with his picture on as well. So that's nice as well. I think he's going to be a big, again, if he stays fit, I think he's going to be a massive player for us this season.
He could be best player in that league if he wanted to be.
Yeah.
Oh, without a doubt. He's going to be Adel Tarat levels of Championship.
I'd love to see it. Not quite Pablo then, you're saying. Up there, but not quite there.
I think Tarat's the best player to ever play in the Championship.
He's probably had the best season, let's say.
So
I'm not sure he's best player, but the best season. But there's players that have played there for multiple seasons, and there's players that have had more of an impact over a shorter period than the full season as well. If you look at Pablo towards the end of the season, I think he was untouchable, wasn't he? But throughout that season, he'd been injured, he'd been in and out of team and stuff. So. But yeah, I mean, I really do think he's going to smash it if he stays fit.
Yeah, it is just about keeping him fit, and we seem to have a team of people that just break team of glass sometimes. We seem to be so unlucky. Every player who comes, you look at how good Adams was playing for us before he got injured. I think Adams and Cine got injured around about similar time, and the downfall came on the back of that from a bit of form.
And Wober were out for a little bit after that as well, weren't they? And then obviously Dallas, who was absolutely bulletproof up until was it Man City that he did it against?
Can't remember.
And then obviously out for a long time. So there was some real bad luck there. And actually, I'm probably doing him a disservice calling him bulletproof, because I think he was usually playing at between 85 and 90% because he was injured every week, but he played anyway.
Just soldiered on, didn't he? Just got on with it.
Yeah.
Any position, whatever, just got on with it.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on a minute. Here's a comment from Alison that's caught my eye. Mark, I think him and his girlfriend have split, so maybe he'll stay. She's always in London. Now, if that's Harrison, then he will be up there with Cine as the best player in the league this season, because whenever she's not around, he's fucking dynamite.
Did you split him up, Alison? Good work if you did. Good work.
That's how rumours start, that, Jay.
Adams was seen on the grass running. I've seen that video today. Let's go through actually a few comments while we're here. Go right back to the start from earlier on. Good point. We didn't mention this actually as part of our our analysis. Thoughts on the trialist Byram? Do we think he's worth signing?
Jury's out. I don't know what he's like these days. I've not seen him play for some time.
I think we could do a lot worse.
Would you sign him though if it meant pushing Drammy further back?
Drammy didn't really excite me, I'll be honest.
Drammy's not excited anybody at Leeds at any point, has he? Which is
no. There's a lot of people.
Everybody raves about him.
Definitely get him in, start him every week, and I'm like, I'm not sure he's any better than Alien. So I would try somebody.
The thing is with Cody Drammer is he's excelled as a wing back in a back five. Every team he's played at. We're not going to play that this season.
I couldn't do that, does he?
It was Alison.
She's been sliding, but she's been sliding on his missus, not Jackie Harrison.
So thoughts on Byron then? Do we think he's worth on a year deal just as a bit of backup, bit of experience? He knows Farker. He's a good professional, obviously, apart from when he decided to leave us and fuck off. What do you thoughts?
He's played on average about 11 or 12 games a season for Norwich. If you average out his time there, he's not nailed down a starting berth there. He was quite pacey when he broke into our team, and that seems that he's pretty much gone, I think, through injury. He's not the pacey player he was. I'm not convinced, but Farker knows him.
Yeah.
So if Farker's convinced on his own head, be it. If he knows him and he thinks he can come in and do a job for him, then crack on.
I think the versatility you get with Sam Byram, I think he can play left back, he can play right back, and he can play further up as well if needed as a more defensive winger. So for me, I'm probably on the same page as you, Gilly. If Farker trusts that he can get him fit enough and get enough games out of him, value for his fee and his weekly wage, then I'll go for it. It's adding that additional experience. He knows the club, Leeds, he knows Farker. There's a lot of positives in there and lots of things pointing in the right direction. I just think, are we settling for a bit of mediocrity if we bring somebody like Sam Byram in? And is it gonna mean missing out on somebody a little bit more exciting?
There's a lot more to it that we won't see, isn't there? Though? It's like, as you say, he could play left back, and if we were signing him to be cover, and he could cover at both sides, but then that might mean we're not getting another left back, but we might not know Furper might be going, so we might still need him, and we might still get a left back. We don't know. If Farker thinks it's a good idea, then why not? But
in Farker we trust, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, pretty much. I think we've got to at this point.
For now, you've got it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Farker,
I just don't want it to be at the expense of anybody else if he signs, that's all. But I don't
It will be because he's going to be a first-team squad player. He's not going to be going and playing 21s every week. It will be at this bench.
No, you're probably right, yeah.
Position.
We just have to see how it plays out. That's all we can do.
Yeah, but if the number he gets assigned would have gone to a youth player instead of somebody else being signed, he's not taken away from somebody else being signed, I think is the point. No, if he gets in the way of another transfer, you're thinking... I'd rather maybe, toss a coin on somebody else. But if it's promoting a youth player,
I've got another mad theory on this one. I think Byram and Daniel Farker are actually lovers.
Okay.
Oh Jesus! I didn't see that one coming tonight.
Given that the rumours across Norwich were that Farker was diddling some of the players' missuses, that's probably unlikely.
Oh, we don't need that at Leeds again.
I tell you what, he does look a bit like what's Aquaman? What's his real name in real?
Jason Momoa.
It looks a bit like
I don't
Momoa,
see
but
that.
gone off.
I don't
He's gone
see
off
that.
a bit. It looks like Momoa if you leave him in fridge for too long.
Wish Momoa.
Anyway, let's move on.
I thought you were more that fat dumpy little porn star.
Ron Jeremy.
Ron Jeremy.
That's him. Yeah, I knew you two would know.
There's only one fat dumpy little porn star
with a little goatee and that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, next one. Leeds played not too bad against Monaco. Friendlies, if we get beat, it doesn't matter. This goes right back to the start. It's match fitness that counts for me. Is the league. That's our bread and butter. And he's even put a little bread and butter emoji. Thank you ever so much, Paul. Yeah, completely.
He always puts some little bits in this, Paul.
Yeah,
we like his comments.
Chronicles, spot on, Jay. Need to protect him a bit. I think we're on about Archie Gray here, by the way. Spot on, Jay. Right. Need to protect him a bit, Chronicles says. Still can't believe he's only 17, way ahead of his age. But pretty much echoing what we've mentioned. Yeah, massive future. Mark Wright says, same with Cresswell. Does he get a free ride because of his dad? He's not quite in the same league as Grace, but
it's not the same. It's not the same. I don't even think of his old man when I see him, but when you look at Archie Gray, you'll think of the Gray family. Whereas Cresswell is more of a standalone, his own man sort of thing for me.
His own man? Is it?
Yeah. I don't think of his old man and that. Yeah, pretty much. The strings are off.
Yeah, the strings are off. Chronicles again says that's why we need another centre midfielder to take the pressure off him. I think we're talking Archie Gray again. Have to be honest, not excited with the camera link. Rangers fans saying they want rid, showboated in a Tin Pot league. I don't know much about camera, but they have gone very quiet. The rumours.
They have, but I think if you do look a little bit further into the Rangers comments, some of them do say that, but you don't know how much of that is fans bitter about the fact it looks like they're losing one of the better players. And if you look at their games in Europe, he was one of their better players.
Have you read the stuff Sheffield United fans have been saying about Ampadu, case in point? He's like, they were terrible, they were awful.
Yeah, it was shit.
Even Hull fans, even as recent as today, Hull fans about Darlow because he went there on loan last season. I've seen.
Look at what some of the Leeds fans have said about some of the players. We were telling Barca fans that Raf was shit and they didn't want him.
Washed up, he's washed up, man.
Yeah, that's football.
So yeah, look, but one thing that does sort of prick my ears a little bit, I suppose, is when rumours tend to go quiet, something tends to happen with these. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's almost like it's like there's something leaks and then there's absolute nothingness, absolute darkness for like a week or two, and then something comes up, and it might not even be camera, it might be somebody completely different in the same position.
Well, that's what happened with Ampadu, isn't it? There were nothing. Everyone were going mental on Twitter, like, "Oh, we need some news. Come on, why is there nothing coming out? What's happening? There must be something happening." And then, bang, we've signed a top championship player there. Yeah, just out of the blue. Yeah. No links, no news, no smoke, nothing.
Any other players that you'd like to be having a look at that sort of position level instead of if we don't bring in somebody like Camara?
It would have been nice to go get Gyökeres, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
he's a striker.
He was but they both scored goals.
It would have been
at this level.
Yeah. I think Hamer would have only been the one.
Yeah,
Hamer. Yeah.
Has he gone somewhere yet?
No, he's still there.
I don't remember seeing. No.
Ilias Chair would be a great shout for a 10 as well at QPR. I don't know if you saw that passage of play where at QPR are cooking or something. They didn't score from the end in the end point, but the build-up play was absolutely amazing. I think they were only playing Wimbledon, in fairness, but it was really good football to watch. Anyway, next comment. Mark Edison, Leeds fans are the worst at letting young talent settle in development. 1 or 2 mistakes, we write them off and persecute them. Struik has been dicked about in 3 different positions. He is a champ.
Centre half.
The end. Yeah, I think so. But I think we have to be prepared if he is going to be one of our starting centre halves. I think we have to be prepared to see a number of mistakes from him to start with, and got to stick by him. You know, he doesn't play well under the cosh. He doesn't play well when we're on the back foot. He doesn't play well when we're in a relegation battle. He was great. Great's probably taking it a little bit extreme, but he was a good player under Bielsa when we were in control of games. He looked competent.
That first season when we got promoted and we played that game against Liverpool, he looked fantastic.
Yeah, he did. That were alongside phenomenal. Robin Koch.
And we thought, what a find this kid
And
is.
Llorente won it.
No,
Yeah,
it was Strike and Cock at centre back against
Oh,
Liverpool.
sorry, well, yeah.
But we thought, what a find this kid is, and how's he fallen? You know what I mean? We know he's got it in his locker. It's in there.
It is. It's there, and I think
he's another
the
one with no
confidence
confidence.
Thing, yeah, absolutely. Paul Brennan, hello again. Agree with you, Jay. If you're serious about getting promoted first time of asking, go for him.
That's about Piroe.
Piroe. Is that a little peacock emoji?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. When he first did that, I used to think it were a tree.
Or a bit of broccoli.
Yeah. And then I realised they were a peacock.
So I've been frantically trying to find it because Fabrizio and a couple of others had linked us with a player I'd never heard of, and he had a bit of a funny name, and I can't find it for life of me. So I'll keep looking.
Lad from Paris Saint-Germain?
That began with C?
No, he was at Toulouse.
Okay.
Toulouse. All right, next question. Next comment from Skip. With a new striker coming in and Joseph Bamford as backups, do we see any room for Joffrey?
Depends if he wants to play as a 10, I guess.
I think he's better at. Parker sees him.
Do we know we've got a new striker coming in yet? Anyway,
no. I think this is hypothetically speaking. I think in an ideal world we will probably have somebody of Piroe's class with Matteo, Joseph, and Bamford as backup for him, and then
which is not Ryan Fraser, by the way.
God, no, it really isn't.
Who we've been linked with today, haven't we?
Yeah, I've seen that. Not interested. You're all right there, Luke. You like you've sorted.
Yeah, no.
You like your
brains broken in with Ryan Fraser.
Look, I don't
that Windows noise.
I don't think.
I don't either, but he's not a striker. He's not going to go and get us the goals that we need, is he?
Absolutely not. He's a winner, isn't he? But
and look at the wingers that we've got.
But left wing back.
Yeah, wing back. Yeah, but if you look at the wingers that we've got, I don't think he gets in front of any of them. I don't think he's better than Jack Harrison, Somerville, Cine, Nonto. He's better than Rutter, but he don't have a position, so it's difficult for him.
Next comment, Alison. Still a few more behind the scenes need gone still. Right, Jay, if you were to get rid of 2 players that are still at this club now, regardless of fees, who are you getting rid of?
Well, Alison's talking about people who work for the club there, not players. But
I'm talking about players and Jamie Mooney.
Oh, God. Well, he can go.
I actually don't know him, so I can't comment.
Melier, I guess, if we get a good fee.
Yeah, and who else?
Because we're signing someone else anyway. If I wanted to replace someone, Firpo maybe.
Yeah, Gilly.
Helder Costa.
Yeah,
would probably be on that list.
Yeah, I would have picked him.
Hey, fuck off! It's not your turn.
I forgot about him.
There's a surprise. Go on, Gilly.
Probably Jan Poveda.
Yeah, that'd be my 2. I think the first 2 out the door.
Yeah, I'd forgot about both of those, to be fair.
Call yourself a Leeds fan.
Hey, listen, they're just not in my thoughts. And hopefully they're not in Daniel Farker's either.
Yeah, but Poveda actually was probably the best player on the pitch versus Scum. Ironically.
Probably. It must be mad to be him, to have been to all them clubs and have had all them people all your young life patting you on the back saying, brilliant, you kid, you're destined for the top. Brilliant. Off you go. Go on. Smash it.
Ends up
and
at
go on loan to Blackburn.
Yeah. He must have really
both,
he must have really bought into his own hype and thought, I fucking made it, me. And just took his foot off at gas.
Well, we saw, didn't we, under Bielsa when he was walking around with that Louis Vuitton bag and he's next to his feet on his car.
We saw him grinding on that bird in Ibiza, didn't we? Or wherever he was.
It. Yeah. And
I don't loving life, that kid.
I think that was his end. That was the ending of him under Bielsa, wasn't it? He didn't ever.
I think so. Yeah.
Come back and do anything. Yeah.
I think Bielsa thought this lad's not focused on football. His mind's elsewhere.
To be fair, mine would be if I had that much money
age with that money,
lifestyle. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would be the modern day George Best.
Gaza, you'd be Gaza.
Yeah, modern day Gaza. Yeah,
turning up with a fishing rod for a serial killer.
Yeah, I'd just be an absolute nightmare if I was that good at anything.
I spent most of my money on hookers, drugs, and beer, and the rest of it I wasted.
Yeah.
Well, that best.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Dirty scum.
Jay
But it's
Michael-
still a funny comment. But I've found the name of that player that I was trying to think of.
Come on.
Branko van den Boomen.
What is this in relation to again?
It's a player that Fabrizio had linked with us.
Ah, right, okay.
His current market value, if you can stand by that on Transfer Market, is 12 million euros. He's 28, and he was rumoured to join Ajax Amsterdam on the 1st of July, but it looks like it fell through. No, he's a central midfielder.
Oh.
So we'll pay 18 million for him plus add-ons. He'll barely play. And next season we'll want rid of him.
So we'll see.
Yeah,
oh no,
absolutely.
Orta's gone, so we're all right. That won't happen.
Yeah.
What was that you brought up, Luke, about players on eBay?
So I think when they're on about eBay, buying stuff on eBay, Jay Michael says, "Never seen any footballs on eBay. Are you on crack when you're on eBay?"
I'm usually
pissed. Sabutio plays he thinks are real. Hang on,
I'm usually at least pissed. I have bought cars when I'm pissed on eBay before.
Cars?
Yeah. Do you know what? I once
just DVDs of the movie?
No, because I'm such an impulsive nutcase. I was once sat in the office in Leeds, and I'm having a look at eBay, and I'm thinking, oh, I really fancy an M3, and I find this old M3, like an old E36, and it looks great, a lot of potential.
Yeah, nobody knows what these are, but they're all football fans.
It's a BMW M3. It's an old one. They're worth a lot of money now. Anyway, so I see this car. I'm in Leeds. Car's in Aberdeen. I speak to a guy, finish work, go to Leeds and Bradford, jump on the plane, fly to Aberdeen, pick this car up, drive back.
How far did you get before it blew up?
I got all the way without it blowing up, but I was intending to drive all the way back home in the same night and thought, fuck this, and went into a travel lodge after about an hour and a half driving back.
But the funny part of this story?
I'll get fucked. I do crazy shit sometimes. I go on eBay pissed.
Man.
That's the point.
Wild. You're a wild stallion.
Listen, mate.
Apparently,
I've got more
Luke,
fucking shit to talk about than you have.
Byram's your fault. Where's that come from? Is it your fault? Is that right?
I'll tell you now, Chronicles. He ain't got that kind of power. He just wishes he had.
I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy.
Luke, ITK.
Yeah. Good question, Jay. How many of these loan players will want to come back if we get promoted? I don't want any of them back if they've got.
They'll want to all come back because they'll want the Premier League money.
They've made their bed. They're too good for the Championship. Leeds. Sorry, they're too good for Leeds in the Championship. They've proven they're not good enough for Leeds in the Premier League. Fuck off.
Same.
Simple as
Fuck
that.
off. Don't ever come back.
So I agree with that. But the question is, how many of them will want to come back? And I think it's all of them.
All of them.
Absolutely all of them. Apart from Robin Koch, who hasn't got a contract at the end of it.
I'll tell you something. Brendan Aronson, how can a guy be that shit, contribute to our demise the way he did, and walk out of our team into a Champions League team? I don't understand football.
One comment on that is Phil Hay picked Brendan Aronson out as the one that would probably be worth bringing back.
I saw that.
I think he will.
He might develop.
The ones
he might,
that are gone on.
Who knows?
Well, I mean, if Weber goes, I think Weber's ahead of him. But if you look at Llorente, Koch, Rasmus, Aronson, well, I said Rasmus, but I think it's not even just about the fact that they've decided that they're too good for Leeds in the Championship. It's just that they're not good enough.
These players got relegated, absolutely.
Yeah, and then didn't want to stick around and take responsibility for what they've done and sort it out.
Completely agree. Yeah,
no spine.
Anyway, this is a little bit more positivity in the next one. Playing strings of Yasmin again. Start the season.
I'm going to have to say,
yes, please.
Do you know, I tried to ignore that comment. It's strings for Yasmin. But yes, absolutely.
We all know what he means.
Yeah, we know what he means.
That'll have really bothered Gilly, though, won't it?
Yeah, it did. It really did. I managed to avoid it. But once he popped it up, I just couldn't deal with it.
Goosebumps every time. I'm the same. That is just a beautiful, beautiful song.
It is. When that first bit starts, the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. Man.
Was the reason that we didn't play it in the Premier League because we had to play the Premier League anthem?
I don't know. You could still have done it in advance of that, couldn't you?
Yeah, they could.
I'd be more inclined to think the club just didn't want to pay for the rights to play it. But you never know.
Yeah, maybe. Anyway, Joffrey linked with Lecce. I haven't seen that. If you want to tag us in on Twitter, if you're on Twitter, Third Fish, or send us a link or something through via email. I haven't actually seen any of those links to Joffrey going over to. They're an Italian side, aren't they? Lecce.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. Are they Serie B?
I'm not sure.
They're not a big side, are they? I know they're not a big side, but I can't remember if they're in the second division or not. They were.
Isn't Lecce? Isn't Lecce Italian for milk?
God
no,
knows.
that's latte.
I'd say get Karl on that, but he doesn't know any either, so
yeah.
Lecce is down the road from me. Anyway,
okay, fair enough.
Third Fish seems to think they're French. What?
No.
Anyway. It's French for milk. French for milk.
Right. Okay.
Got you. Sorry. Yeah, we'll get language barriers. Everyone, don't worry. We'll sort it out.
We only speak Yorkshire.
20-year-old M3s can go for 50k now. Great
That's
news.
true. Yeah.
Cool story. Thought he was listening
cool story, bro.
An Auto Trader podcast. Yeah.
Hey, we cover all sorts here. I will be putting stuff on my my YouTube car channel of rebuilding the Impreza soon, so you can.
And do you know what? Luke sometimes meets some gadge in a shop. Some gadge's dad sometimes turns up as well.
Yeah. Hal Robson Cano, mate.
And his dad. Don't forget his dad.
God.
Yeah. Right. Couple more things just to talk about really quickly. Has anybody seen the Calvin Phillips documentary yet? Have they brought themselves around to watch it?
No, I've got no motivation to watch it. I'm just not interested now.
Same.
I was gutted when he left, but I've moved on.
Yeah, same. Apparently, there's some quite touching bits in there. I've not seen it yet. I don't have any interest in watching it for some reason or other. Still wish Calvin all the best and very well, but I just don't have any interest in watching his career and how much money he's making now.
Motherfucker.
No, the fact that he's still there, we've gone down now, just distances me even more from him. Like, it's a different world. I saw a comment on Twitter that said the only person that came out of it with any credit or looking good was his mum, apparently.
Yeah, I saw that.
I saw that comment.
Yeah, I did. How's the poll going, Jay?
So I will end the poll and get us a result here, but it looks like Love It has won the poll with 62%.
Interesting. So again, we've just confirmed that Gilly's got terrible taste in threads.
we got a mighty 37 votes out of the 100 people that were on at the time. Shame on you! Shame on you! Give us a bloody like and vote in.
It's a small sample area. It's a small sample.
It is a small sample size.
Right. Last but not least, has anybody got anything else I want to talk about Leeds related before we do this bit?
I've forgotten to bring it upstairs again, but we've still got the certificate to talk about for the work that we did for the trust. For the foundation. I'm going to put it out on our socials instead. It'll be fine. So look for that. It's all the money that we raised as part of the 400-mile challenge.
Right.
When are we drawing the shirt anyway, lads?
Don't know. We haven't set a date on it. I think it's probably run its course in terms of retweets and subscribers now. So maybe next week we'll announce a winner. Yeah. Let's do
that.
Okay.
So next week you will find out if you've been the lucky winner of this shirt, not this one because I've worn it and it'd be worth double. But if I'm kidding, but we can sign it if you want, I suppose. No, we can't. We're going to get it.
We can't because we're going to offer it up for the sizing, so somebody else is going to
forget it. And not that they want us to sign it. I mean, who do we think we are? Yeah, fuck me. 90 listeners on a Tuesday night.
Hey, this is all you, Luke. It's all you, mate.
Yeah,
he gets to be host, Gilly, and he goes crazy.
Yeah, hey, rogue. I'm a lone wolf. Stadium rebuild. Have we had any more news on this? I don't think we have yet, have we?
There was some work going on, wasn't there? I think they were tearing out some boxes and putting more standard seats in.
They were doing some work in the West Stand, I think, on the directors' boxes and putting some additional seats in. But
nothing major.
In terms of rebuild, I think that's probably overstating it from anything that's been confirmed so far, at least.
All I'm hoping for is that they've got a multi-pint machine at the bar in the cheese wedge.
That fills from the bottom up. They just stick it on and it fills up. Yeah,
because they used to have them in the East Stand. I don't think they're there anymore, but you used to get 6 pints on it at a time. And now it's just queuing for fucking ages. It's ridiculous. And it's a bit of an auto bit of this, but they have a thing where
already.
Oh yeah. It's coming to my head now.
Have you not got a thing?
So They have the machine on the wall where you can buy a pint for half time or you can buy it for now.
Yeah.
They know how many they've sold for half time. They know. It's on the system. It tells you. So why do you have to queue? Well, two kids who've never worked on a bar before try in vain to pull you a pint that's not half fucking froth. And there's a queue down the fucking concourse. Why? Start preparing the fucking beers. We're tight Yorkshire people. We're not going to leave them. We're going to come get them if we bought them. It's not fucking
Why not sell it?
Science, lads.
What I don't get is, why not sell cans?
Because you could throw them at people.
Yeah, but then you just rely on your stewards to actually do the fucking job.
Well, they don't, because I always smuggle 4 cans of gin in each half.
They can't intercept a speeding can as it heads.
If there's any stewards watching this, we'll do this poll next week. Third finish, I think we'll probably get a bit more better. I don't really. I've seen your other question as well. Where will we finish this season? I think it's far too early to be suggesting. We don't know. We've still got lots of ins and outs to come. I think we'll probably do that bit nearer to the season start. To be fair,
I would say it's a failure if we don't get automatic promotion. That's not saying that I expect us to, but from the position that we're in, with the certainly with the wingers, the capability that we have for creativity, and the financial muscle that we have, it's a failure if we don't get promotion.
Yeah. I mean, the expectation of the fan base is to be pushing for autos, and expectation probably of the board will be that we should be in there or thereabouts. But I think it's far too early to based on the pre-season friendlies we've had and the squad we've currently got, not knowing who's coming, who's not going. But couple of other quick things then. That's great.
Oh, an hour ago, sorry to interrupt, but an hour ago, so just after we came on here, Sky Sports confirmed that Darlow was having a medical.
All right.
Leeds, really?
Great news.
Yeah.
Great news.
Oh, I'll have to have a look.
But there's a part in the Calvin Phillips apparently where, do you remember the game where we were singing, when he was at City, we were singing "You're Too Fat to Play for Leeds"?
Yeah.
And apparently love that bit.
Because he knows.
And then Skip. Good to hear the reciprocal ticket price with Cardiff. What are your thoughts
hopefully
on that?
more of that. Apparently, we were going to charge them the full £47 to come, which we're still charging our own fans in the West Stand. Yeah, but it's ridiculous, isn't it? Football.
Shouldn't be in league. Kick them out.
No, you know what, though? We're going to get absolutely, apart from Cardiff now, but Cardiff only charges £30, but it was, did they charge us £30 less than that last year in the cup? And they gave us a massive allocation.
Yeah, they did.
We
That's the cup, though.
Yeah, it is the cup. I appreciate that, and it's difficult. It's a weeknight. No, it was just, I can't remember when it was, Sunday, I think, or something. I can't remember. But anyway, it is good, and I get it. But there's going to be so many clubs that won't do that with us this year because they know they will sell 6,500 tickets or whatever. Preston, Blackburn.
Oh yeah.
And
the clubs that don't do that, you'll know, don't give a fuck about their fans. They're just out to make some money off us.
Do you think that shows? I'll ask you a serious question. Do you think that shows that they care about us as fans more, or do you think it is a bit of a gimmick to show that they care about fans? Do you think they'll be squirming that actually we're going to lose out on a few £100,000 here potentially?
I think some clubs will be relying on that money, to be honest with you, because they don't get any of the receipt, do they, for the away game at ours?
No.
When their fans pay that price to us, we get all that, don't we?
Yeah, of course.
It's only cups where gates are split. So I don't think they'll care about the fact their fans are having to pay out a higher price to come to us, as long as they get some extra money. Some of them. I mean, for some clubs, they'll be making massive losses season on season. We know that about the Championship. We know that you don't make any money in there. So some clubs who have the backing and can stomach it will do a reciprocal price, and some clubs they'll either be desperate or they'll be greedy, one of the two. So not everyone's going to do it, are they?
The one thing that surprised me was the fact that one of the clubs that's happy to do it is Cardiff, given that I think that they are morally destitute as an entity.
Mm-hmm.
So that did surprise me. The other thing is, it's a real shame that the 20s Plenty scheme or movement or whatever you want to call it, it's a real shame that didn't really land. I think it got a lot of support early on, and then they never really took that support and turned it into something that was actually change associated with ticket pricing. That could have really been a step change in that approach, but it never really landed any change, and I think that is a shame. But it's a business, and it's a results business, and if fans are seeing results on the pitch, they're going to pay the money.
Yeah, I do find it strange. I do find it odd that you can go watch any Premier League team away from home for 30 quid a game. Yeah. Chef Wednesday going to charge you best part 60.
Yeah. I mean, it's not strange. It's absolutely disgusting. It's
insane.
Yeah.
It is. Anyway, well, more to come on that, I'm sure, as the season sort of progresses to a start, and we see who really wants our money and who really wants their fans there. So, one final thing before we go, we do always promote Andy's Man Club. So they've got a couple of events coming up over the next week or two, and somebody just turned off my image. Oh my God! And they've done it again. Oh my God! You do it because all right, I'll do it.
Jesus.
So Thursday the 27th. This isn't even a laughing matter. Thursday the 27th. Pool snooker night at Northern Snooker Centre on Kirkslow Road. 6:30 meet, and on Sunday the 30th they got the walk and talk at Roundhay Park, meeting outside the Lakeside Cafe. From 11 a.m, setting off at 15:15. They're walking around the lake and up to the Mansion Cafe for a cuppa. Everyone is welcome. Your friends, family, partners, dogs, cats, if you can walk them. Tortoises might take you a while. But yeah, everybody is welcome on to one of those. So get yourself along to your local Andy's Man Club and just show your support, really. Even if you're not feeling down, it's nice to show a little bit of moral support for your fellow Leeds fans and local neighbours. So anybody else?
Tech Dog. You should go, Luke. Take them all.
Take all everyone's dog.
No, all your dogs. You got two on you.
I've only got two.
There you go.
All two of them.
Take all two of them. All right. Okay. Smashing. Well, if there's nothing else, I don't expect. We haven't really touched upon the upcoming games this week. We are playing Notts Forest and Hearts as well before we come back on next week. But in honesty, I don't expect much difference. A bit more of the same. Bit more of minutes in the legs, and yeah, just try and play us out and giving youth a bit of an opportunity to shine and stake a claim in that first team potential squad for the start of the season. So yeah,
I'm
not
going
really.
To Forest, so I will watch this one.
Good stuff. That's reassuring, Jay. Even though you still won't know what's happened and not be able to talk.
Probably not, though.
Yeah. Great stuff. So yeah, we'll see you back here next Tuesday at the usual time of probably about 20 to 9.
Cheers, lads. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
You're not doing it.